Well, it should be a good best of 5. Even though this man has been performing better within the DreamHack StarCraft 2 Masters, I still think he's the underdog here. Twitch chat thinks he's the underdog, which definitely makes him the underdog because nobody goes against Twitch chat. Representing SciStorm Gaming, this is Gerald.
And spawning over in the top left side as that blue Terran, it is souL. What's that cool logo that he has for his team? I've actually forgot the name of it.
Berserker Esports.
Ah, it's nice. And he's starting off the game a little bit wild here, Kev, with a proxy racks in a location that I can't imagine Gerald scouting straight away.
No,
or at
it's
all.
One of the last ones. I think you scout. You're gonna check into your natural, maybe low ground natural, the high ground at your rich Vespian guys, and it's a funny placement of the depot. Do you want to analyze that depot, Ben?
Kevin, that depot. I think this depot is to instill fear in poor Gerald, because you see a depot there, and it's like, oh, what is this guy? Yeah, Gerald blinked a lot deeper than he's ever blinked before.
Spots both refineries as well, so Gerald knows that souL is quite serious about this. Oh, souL is going full Ziggy in game 1? What the hell? I think it's gonna go for a 1-1-1 all in.
I mean, it could be. It definitely could be. You know what's actually interesting about that depot? You know when players go and put the pylon, like kind of in between and stuff? Maybe this works out better against that kind of stuff, where you can potentially send your zealot across the map to, you know, inflict chaos, inflict panic. Maybe souL came in very, very prepared for this.
Can't believe you're actually analyzing the depot. I was totally joking, but you're really going for it.
Mate, this is why I get paid the big bucks, Kev.
Oh, first blood. That always feels good for Gerald. Gets a SCV kill, and he's also going to see that there is a Marine running towards his side. So it's a Marine into a reactor with a proxy factory. There is your pylon, though, and it's not a wall-off. I don't know what this pylon is supposed to accomplish, but...
I mean, the big thing is it prevents the wall-off, right? So, I mean, it's a good pylon, and my theory about the hipster wall-off here, well, didn't work out, Kev. Oh, I say that, but it's actually kind of... You know what? souL's a genius. He's fixed the problem.
I don't know if it really took a genius to fix this problem. We do have to address the fact that there is still a factory out on the map producing 2 Hellions at a time. This Zealot should not have enough DPS. The Stalker finds it. That's very big. But Gerald really doesn't have a lot of firepower at home, and he's going to recall his Stalker. But even one Stalker is going to have a hard time dealing with 2 Hellions. But fortunately, Stalker number 2 is here.
It certainly is. The first shot, getting a bit of a wasted shot here. Although one probe does fall, but a lot of this, it's about the time that you buy, the fact that he's got away with, oh my god, souL just doesn't want to build in his base, man. But honestly, that depot, Kev, I'm going to go into it again. Like, that was a good depot. This feels like a Benny B build.
I have no idea what you're on about, but sure. What we do know is that there is an armory finishing up. So is Zealot. Oh, could be in danger. Zealot is slow, but Zealot stay. That's actually really nice because it forced one of the mines to stay at home. There are still 3 Widow mines inside of this medevac though, and the robotics facility is not done yet, so it's going to be very, very hard to take out the Cloaky boys.
You know what's sad about this? That shield battery almost does nothing except just make it... You know, it's 100 minerals that went into that I guess you have to try and respect a little bit just in case there's another Hellion drop. But here we go, the first Widow mine drop goes on. There is an observer on the way. Nice splits by Gerald. He's honestly dealt with this pretty damn well.
Oh, well, yeah. It's a lot of lost mining time, of course, but he does take out... well, he doesn't take out anything, but he gets a couple shots off on the medevac. The observer is gonna be in time. And this is not all that bad, and the Zealot is still roaming the map too, looking for the follow-up scout. But does Gerald have enough firepower to deal with the second wave of Widow mines that are now going to hit his natural?
Oh, the friendly fire on the medevac actually made that quite a bit more problematic than it should have been, I think. Now, that observer is here.
It's bad in the main base. The Widow mines unloaded in the main base and they killed 2 Stalkers, so Gerald just lost a lot of his firepower. And now he's got no DPS to clean up these mines.
This is very problematic, and souL's actually just being so annoying. Okay, 2 Stalkers do come in the nick of time, and the probes are used as well. I guess the big advantage for Gerald, though, is he's not actually against a fully functioning Terran. Like, the command center's still only a little over halfway done here.
Yep, it could have all been a lot worse, but I'll guarantee you that Gerald is not feeling super good about this, especially not after losing those. He lost 3 Stalkers in total. He lost 3 Stalkers to kill 4 Widow Mines. Stalkers are pretty painful. There's another big mine drop happening in the main. 4 of them have already gone down. I wouldn't hate it on Burrow on this mine, or just some retargets for a little while. Oh man, he really should have shot at the center. There were so many units clumped up there. Little missed opportunity, but look at the F2 observers. New mine showing up in the natural. souL is going full Maro here. He's going to unburrow this mine too. He's looking for that juicy shot. Does not get it. Gerald's build, if this is even still a build, is in absolute shambles though.
Yeah, can we load up that income graph? Because I think it's going to be looking quite spiky for the Protoss. And, well, yeah, I mean, it's massively in the Terran favor despite being on 1 base. And Gerald is actually brave enough to be outside his natural here, which I gotta say, if I've been Widow Mine dropped as much as this, I'd be paranoid in both my bases, and souL is finding another opening here.
Yep, I mean, these targets don't have blink. Gerald didn't see it. Oh, close your eyes. 1 shot is very good. 7 workers go down, and things just kind of go from bad to worse. I mean, this is 6 minutes and 35 seconds, and the Twilight Council isn't even done yet, and we're talking about a 2-base Protoss.
2-base Protoss that's equal on workers against the Terran, and this Observer, I feel like this Observer flying in here and seeing this kind of saturation, and like the army, the missile turret even going up, when he gets to the main base as well, and it's just, this is very, very horrible for a Protoss to see when you've taken so much damage back at home.
Yep. Mine drop is happening again in the main base, by the way. All the probes are not mining. 1 Widow Mine fired, the other one has not fired yet. Are we gonna get an unburrow? Yes, we do. There is an observer. Oh, he can shoot from the high ground. Gerald, you need to respect this. The Widow Mine from downtown. And he will.
Oh.
No.
Gets the observer for his troubles. I mean, that's something. That's something. Maybe it's not worth it for this. In fact, no, it's always worth it for the scan. Yeah,
yeah, absolutely.
So. Considering he's as far ahead as he is as well in this game, I think any bit of damage you can deal to your opponent for that kind of stuff, and I mean, in all those normal situations where Terrans kill observers, like, it's good, it's good. And now that Bioforce, like, this is Stim coming online, this is +1 coming online. It's already got combat shields as well. Oh, this is horrible. This
is game over. There is almost no other way to put it. I have no idea how a couple of Stalkers without blink are supposed to keep this army at bay, or at least the 3rd Nexus is going to fall, or 20 probes are going to fall in the natural. souL's army is so powerful here. Gerald really has nothing. There is no Immortal here. There aren't even really any shield batteries in the right location to help out either. A medevac shows up. Benjamin Baker, I'll let you do the talking.
I mean, what talking is there to do? I mean, souL's going to do it with his bloody army here. The Robo, that was Gerald's one kind of possible chance there, and that goes down, producing a... I mean, this is as good as it. Even the Widow Mine's getting real big damage done. Gerald starts off this series with quite a bang in the wrong way.
Yeah, just nothing really going his way. The observers were flying all over the place. Every time he thought it would stop, it never stopped. It was like one of these nightmares where you wake up, at least you think, but you're actually still dreaming, so you woke up in your nightmare and the nightmare is still going. That was the next set of Widow Mines that just kept showing up. Gerald going for the double gate. The double gate would have been good against like a traditional Ziggy build, by, you know, just to use a random example, where you can get a couple of extra units out, maybe you have enough firepower to deal with just a Hellion drop. But against all these Widow Mines that are going to be permanently cloaked, you wish you had a Phoenix, you wish you had all these Blink Stalkers, but just gateway units, it's very tough to defend.
Yeah, I'm wondering what kind of openings are going to happen for the rest of the series, because, I mean, you've played competitively, Kev. Like, whenever I see somebody open up like this, it always... You've played competitively, Kev. You definitely have. And I know you're a competitive
That's what we tell the people, Ben.
But this kind of thing, like, souL doing that to start things off on... I think Romanticide's a decent PvT map for getting the 3-base setup. I know Gerald isn't necessarily the quickest player. Like, mechanically, he definitely does everything fine, but to be thrown off like this to start things off against souL, that is definitely not what you want. And for it to actually be as successful as this for souL as well, that could absolutely set the tempo for this series. And yeah, I mean, Gerald, we already looked at him as the underdog here, but souL played well, man. He didn't really do anything too wrong at all.
No, I love some of the retargeting. I love some of the unburrowing. I really think that he got a lot of value out of his mines. There's obviously always room to do things even better, and that's why I can go a little crazy over a Widow Mine drop of Clem or Gabe, because that's this next level. How long they keep them alive, and they never make it easy in the Protoss. If you think you can just split off one probe and you're gonna lose one probe, nope, that's gonna be unburrow, burrow over again. I think souL played excellent. What's worse for Gerald, I think, it's not that he's down 0-1. But it's just that those kinds of games, and I'm speaking from a Protoss point of view, are freaking annoying. There's no other way to put it. It feels like you're not doing anything. Every single time you think it's over, you think you're ready for the next wave. Apparently you're not. And then nothing happens. So you're like, oh, I can macro up. And then you look at your supply, you look at your tech, you're like, oh, this is really bad. And then you see a bio army move out. And you may as well tap out the moment those forces walk down the ramp, because you know that you won't have a chance. But since you're playing for a lot of money and a lot of prestige here in the DreamHack Masters, you will. But that's a game to forget about real quick. Let's see what this man has in store for us in Game 2. Our Polish Terran player representing the Berserker Esports. This is souL.
And spawning over in the bottom left of 2K Atmosphere, representing Storm Gaming, it is Gerald.
This is where you proxy Void Ray, Ben.
Think so?
Absolutely. You get one back on the board. You're like, hey man, that was really annoying. But you know it's also annoying? Void Rays and batteries in your face. And that's like, now we're all tied up. Let's play some normal games.
You know, like that first game, if he did do a Void Ray build against that build, that makes for a very, very weird set of games. And I mean, I honestly, going for a cheese in TVP feels so risky these days, because any cheese build you do, I feel that if you go up against Void Rays, it's never that nice for you, honestly. But maybe I'm just a bit of a noob when it comes to dealing with that situation.
I don't know. I mean, what is it?
Oh, I was gonna say, like, I don't know how often you've seen Gerald recently in games. I know we got to see him through a group stage, but it was a group without that many Terrans, right? Because I tend to find that he goes for a lot of 3 base and loves his Storm builds. Like, that's something that I really know him for when it comes to TVP. So I don't know if souL's done his homework, but that could be something that you can play around. And the fact that souL is very, very fast, and Gerald, his APM, I know APM isn't the biggest indicator, but we did see a bit of mishandling on those Widowmine drops. He isn't necessarily the fastest player in the world.
We saw a bit of panic too, right? And multiple times there were 2 observers flying towards the bottom side of the main base, maybe a little bit of F2ing. I felt like that one observer that was trying to make it to the other side of the map got pulled back once or twice as well. Because at one point it was like, this observer left home 2 minutes ago and it's still not in the natural soul. So I don't know what happened there, but I was like, I think I'm familiar with this. This happens to the best of us. It's just an annoying game. I think it's time to forget about it for Gerald and just focus on everything that you've been preparing here for this best of 5. Now, this is a weird start, man. It's another 2-gate robo, but this time he knows that souL is going for just the standard barracks, fast expand on the low ground. What's up with the super quick robo?
I'm not sure, because in my head, the best opening you can go up against, like as a Terran, the one that's the least scary is the robo. Like, you know, 10 times out of 10, Stargate's kind of scary, Twilight's kind of scary. Robo, not as scary at all. That SCV obviously got a full scout in the main, and this quite quick sentry does get a full scout off as well. But yeah, I don't know, Kev. Maybe a little bit wounded from that game prior. Just making sure he's not caught off guard.
I think it's gonna be some weird Zealot charge opening. For some reason, we keep seeing those. I haven't seen one do very well yet. All right, so what he's actually doing is just a super quick 3 bases, 3 minutes, 45 seconds, very early robo. You know who did this a lot? And you're gonna be like, this is so random to mention him. But Papi Joe. Papi Joe actually did this build all the time. And I was like, I don't really see how you defend against any multi-prong aggression. And when he went up against like top tier Terrans, he definitely struggled a bit because they can just pick you apart. He actually played it a bit different though. He didn't go for the Twilight, he would go for the Robo Bay and just spam out probes. The upside of this build for Gerald is quick observers and a lot of economy. The downside is that you won't have anything that's good against medevac drops for quite some time.
I mean, these Stalkers are actually going to a perfect location here in this medevac. Oh my goodness. Oh
What?
my goodness. I can't believe. It worked out, Kev. It worked out really damn well.
That's the power of the observer. Honestly, risky to move out, because imagine if Soul would have barely changed direction and it would show up in your main base and your units are so far out of position you don't have blink. But yeah, in this case, it worked out perfectly for Gerald. So far, so good. But let's see if he can survive the next 2 minutes without any issues as well.
Those sneaky widow mines, by the way, actually getting away. I'm a bit surprised he didn't go all the way home with those, realizing there's stalkers with an observer there. But this opening's actually paying off really well for Gerald, and it wasn't some weird mistake or something from the first game. I don't know why he's shaking his head right now, but yeah, the timings was really good because that third Nexus started super damn cleanly.
Ooh, Medevac is going to try to save the mines, but it's a little bit too late. Nope, he's not too late. He's going to boost in, pick up those mines, and get out of there. So the one issue I still see here for Gerald is that I think he's going to get a great economy. He's going to probably fire up a Colossus, and that is exactly what he does. Chrono boosted out. The Raven, the first push with the Raven, and then maybe the potential reinforcements of SouL that could be dropped into the main base. I think that is a very, very scary moment when you go for the strategy that Gerald is going for. But if he weathers the storm against that first wave and the follow-up of that wave too, then he's in a really, really good spot. Because at this point, he's 14 workers ahead and a base up.
I mean, I love Gerald's spot, man. Like, I really do. I know that SouL, he has the potential to get a third on location and stuff with this push out that he's inevitably going to do. But I'm looking at this, Kev. That drop, that first drop, that was the one that was really kind of worrisome for Gerald with his build. And the fact that he negated it so damn well, yeah. And oh my goodness, he did the right thing as well, probing up as hard as he's done. He's been so safe with these obs. SouL's in trouble.
So he's in trouble, but I still think there is potential. I think his army is going to be strong. I think he's going to pack one hell of a punch. And there is a Raven too. Now the Raven is going to drop an auto turret. That's maybe not how you want to use that energy. It does open things up on the left side. I thought we had a medevac there too. Did SouL send everything to his main army? Okay, there is no medevac on the left. No, SouL is in trouble. that is a very, very good assessment. But let's see if SouL can find an opening somewhere.
I mean, he's a damn good player, right? But I'm looking at that upgrade tab, and they're both going to be finishing up some pretty damn pivotal upgrades. It's just Gerald he's more than prepared, man. Like, he's up to 2 Colossi already. He's taking a 4th base before SouL's even halfway done to his 3rd. Yeah, I don't know. That Raven, it was kind of like the ace up the sleeve, really, for SouL, but it hasn't really got anything. It has 0 kills here.
Stalkers get in range, pick off one Marine there too. There's no shield battery here. There is nothing coming out of the Raven. Force fields are pretty decent. You can see that SouL is desperately looking for an opening because he obviously knows how good the economy is of Gerald. And he's like, all right about now, I would really love to find some economic damage or win a fight. But I don't know if either is possible. Oh, we could feed back the Raven, by the way. There's one High Templar. Interference Matrix is going to land on a single Colossus, but I don't think that's going to be good enough for SouL, man. The other two should still pack a punch. Gerald, that's a little bit of a boo-boo there. He loses one Colossus. He is in danger of losing another one. Where were all those Stalkers, by the way?
They were on the left side looking for drops that were never going to happen, and now that Raven is left behind. That Raven, a bit of a boo-boo there for SouL. Honestly, that fight should have went way better for Gerald, but I really think he missed micro quite a bit there, especially the Colossus that just kind of wanted to headbutt the Terran army. They never want to do that.
Yeah, once you get Interference Matrix, if you A-move, the Colossus is like, well, I can't fight, but I can hug. And then it just walks into the Terran army. Nice blink, but he shoots at the empty medevac. I felt that recall was already used, but maybe I'm hallucinating. No, recall is definitely available. While Gerald is already thinking of getting Stargates and stuff, he's like, this is all going so well, I can get ready for the Stargate phase of the game.
I'm just looking at that income graph, Kev, or rather the income tab. Like, he's up to 80 probes already. It's been massively in his favor. I do think that SouL needs to be aggressive to kind of slow this game down to a late game. So I think that's pretty much his main chance to get back into this.
Well, we know that that's his comfort zone. Can he get a disruptor? Yes, he can. Not bad. He got 6 probes as well. Gerald is going to send a couple of very brave zealots to the other side of the map. They're going to take a look at this command center and appreciate the artwork.
They certainly are. And, oh, we were just chilling out on vacation over here. And, you know, SouL turned up in his own base. Well, who'd have thought?
Can't believe he was ready for that. I mean, sure.
Can't believe it, mate.
Let's take a look at the replay, man. How did he know? It's like you see a Zealot standing there for a minute. You know? Well, I guess that's how.
By the way, those medevacs that are stranded on the far left side, like they're surrounded by stalkers and a void ray is on the way. Like, oh, he's moving his stalkers away here? Oh.
Yeah, this is actually souL's only way to ever get those units back to safety. souL throws down a scan. Now Gerald blinks another stalker forward. That void ray is about to pop, and that means that souL needs to make up his mind what he wants to do with these units. These observers by Gerald, by the way, have just been godlike all game long. I feel like he sees everything.
Oh, so souL's testing it out with just one medevac.
Rowdy water today.
Oh, I mean, honestly, the void ray, while we were kind of having a bit of fun with that Stargate, it's done the job, man. I mean, that was a good 20+ supply that achieved absolutely nothing.
souL has lost 1,500 resources more than Gerald did in this game. But it feels even a lot worse than that. It really feels that souL has had absolutely nothing going his way. Gerald now feeling confident to move out on both sides of the map. Widowmine does connect with an Archon, but that's not going to be enough to kill it. Gerald needs to be a little bit careful when it comes to fighting without a prism. I don't see a prism here. This is the one where you can really throw away a lead. He doesn't have a lot of anti-air. A lot of his units are on the top side. Gerald, he might kill the base, but if you lose 3 or 4 Colossus, I'm not sure if I love that.
That could have all went a lot better, right? Like, he's obviously playing very aggressive here, which, killing the base, killing 10 SCVs, I think he's still far ahead, but he's making this far more problematic than he should have.
High Templars in the side, Colossus still very exposed. Overcharge battery is good, and it's not good enough to save that low HP Colossus there. High Templars coming in from the back. I don't know if souL sees it, souL is gonna stim. I mean, souL has no business making this game close, but he's kind of making it close. He finds High Templars, the Storms are good. Stalkers now kind of by themselves. I'm happy that there is one Archon and a Void Ray there. And in the end, Gerald is gonna be far enough ahead to clean this one up. Maybe made it a little dicey on himself there, but in the end, it's still a convincing victory. I really think this entire game almost got decided by the first mine drop getting shut down before it even entered the base. Because that is something that has a lot of potential against a Protoss that doesn't have Phoenix or Blink Stalkers. It could be annoying forever, it could deal a lot of damage, it could delay the mining, which would delay the transitions, and then the follow-up of souL could be good. But that getting shut down immediately, it put Gerald in an amazing position.
Absolutely. And I mean, Stargate play and having those medevacs stranded for so long, like they were really buying souL a lot of time, keeping the army back of Gerald. But once they dealt with them, he was like, well, it's a big loss for you. And considering I've got away with such greed early on, yeah, this is one of those moments where I wasn't quite sure about a lot of souL's decision making. You know, like that Widowmine drop getting shut down, then keeping the Widowmines. I mean, he's definitely doing a lot of fancy stuff and got a bit of damage done. But yeah, I think Gerald was just way too solid this game, and none of the shenanigans really paid off for souL.
I mean, I think it's a risky build. Like, it gives you a lot of vision, but it really makes you very immobile as a Protoss. And he does get a relatively quick Twilight, but he's still getting a lot of stuff. It is super focused on economy. And if Terran finds one opening, they will run away with the game. Because by the time you're done cleaning something up in the main base, something's happening in your natural. By the time you take care of that, they're in the main again. Then they're in the third, and then there is a big army. Somewhat similar to what we saw on Romanticide. But yeah, since souL just couldn't find any damage, Gerald was enjoying an even bigger worker lead than they already enjoy in most games. Those dirty Protosses, man.
Dirty scumbags, you know, and my prediction's already ruined, Kev. It's all I can think about right now.
Oh, that's why you're so upset. I was like, Ben feels a little bit off. Did you predict a 3-0, Benjamin?
I did, but I knew that this man in the bottom right was a bit of a liability, Kev, at the best of times. Anyhow, he's still playing damn good StarCraft. It is souL. Glorious.
And that obviously means that in the bottom left side, we're looking at the main base of the Polish Protoss, representing the North American esports organization Sidestorm Gaming. It is Gerald.
Blackburn, for me, is always one that I'm never entirely sure about when it comes to TVP. Oh, look at that. Oh. Now, was souL going for an eBay block here? Very, very possibly, or at least some blocking. I doubt it was for a proxy or whatever. And yeah, it will be an eBay block.
Even if you scout it early, it's still kind of annoying. Probes are getting a lot of hits off though on this STV. Still getting a little unlucky there with the RNG. All that man wants to do is get a bit of extra HP on this eBay. But this is where you come back and you build another eBay.
How many times have you ever had that done to you?
Quite a few.
Oh, it's not going to survive, Kev. I mean, honestly, Gerald handled this pretty damn well. Like, his scout pan was weird, right? It feels like he might be cluing into what souL's doing a little bit. Like, he's getting used to his game plan a bit.
So far in worker fights, 2-0 in favor of Gerald.
I mean, they are probes. They're pretty damn good. By the way, I'm so glad that in StarCraft 2, the workers don't have different ranges like they do in Brood War.
I don't know. Do they?
So apparently, like SCVs, even though they have 60 health in Brood War, I think like drones can slide and stuff and shoot at the same time, whereas the SCVs can't at all.
I mean, I've heard about it, but I watch
Today you learned, Kev. Today you learned.
I watch very little Brood War bands, so I can confirm. I know you're pretty good in Brood War too. You're good at everything. It's kind of annoying. I remember playing.
I felt the resentment in your voice as you were saying that. You're like, I hate admitting this.
I remember playing Unreal Tournament or Quake with you, whatever it was. I'm like, I ban, I'm not very good. You're like, oh, don't worry, I'm not very good either. 3 minutes forward, you're up like 21-0. You have all the armor and the sickest shotguns and railguns. I'm like, yeah, fun playing games with you, mate. Never again.
I like that you say that I'm good at everything, and you take this one moment, but Kevin, you were really bad at Quake. Like, I don't want like a viewer to think that I'm actually good at Quake, and then he plays me and challenges me, and I get absolutely owned. But you were next level bad.
No, I wasn't. I was like a standard, relatively new Quake player. Like, I could run around, I could shoot. And you're like some ultra tryhard. You know where I spawn, and you headshot me before I even pick up like one armor, and you just rotate the map like your fatality in his prime. And you're like, oh, I never played this game. Like, yeah, piss off, Ben. I never again.
Oh, anyhow, here we do have a. So, I mean, the Adept, I think Gerald's definitely had the better opening here, like in a lot of ways. And that is an unusual Marine move out for sure. This reminds me of like an old school Euthermal game, actually. I remember him resorting to this kind of stuff. But the Hellions, they're in, Kev. The Adepts actually let that through.
Yeah, no shield battery. This is going to hurt. Now, of course, the Oracle could maybe hurt on the other side of the map as well. Let's see what... Oh, Gerald's going to bring the Oracle all the way back. And that obviously means that it's not likely this Oracle is going to deal any damage. Man, this is already a phenomenal start for souL. Gerald just not quite ready for it. And now he pulled the Oracle back for nothing because he cleaned all of it up. This Oracle could have killed 4 or 5 SCVs, man. There were 2 Widow Mines in the main base. The Phoenix will at least find his medevac.
Thought it was flying away for a second there, but yeah, it finds it. Speed boost isn't available for quite some time. Now it's available, but I mean, this is such a weird opening. That poor medevac, man. Oh, boom!
Oh, what? He killed the Widow
baby.
Mine! He killed the Widow Mine! That's Phoenix MVP! That's why. Now the mines are so stuck. souL needs to wait for his next medevac, so you don't need to wait for a drop. He's gonna try to stand it out again, and what felt like was a bad start for Gerald is turning into a really solid start, as now he's in the natural of souL. These SCVs are there for the taking. There is an Oracle with 1,000,000 energy, and souL drops the Mew in front of it with no respect for the Oracle with 300 energy. Benjamin Baker, what is happening?
I think we're seeing the falling apart of souL, man. Like, I really do.
Friendly fire! Friendly fire!
Okay, there is. Those Widow Mines were picked up. Okay, Widow Mines dealing damage here, there, and everywhere. Is souL getting back into this, Kev? 9 probes fall for the 11 SCVs. I mean, this is crazy, but he's literally not got a single unit that shoots up to defend against this, besides that one Marine at his natural.
And this Oracle has got a lot of kills. I feel like it could have even gotten a little bit more. So while souL did a really good job against the Adepts of Gerald, he let Gerald think you could shade the Adepts on top of the STVs and the Widowmines would just kill the STVs. But while that was happening, he was distracting him with the Mine Drop. I was distracted by it too. Then Gerald ended up losing all his Adepts and souL actually saved his STVs. And now souL is just dropping Cloaky Mines everywhere. And what felt like what should have been a good start is turning into a really bad start. There's so many mines, don't lose the Oracle. Oh my goodness, what is happening?
Kevin, I think souL, like, I take it all absolutely back. souL. Oh, he almost got the Oracle then. He retargeted, but he didn't quite get it. Gerald killed it just in the nick of time. souL does find this third base, but it's like, well, he's killed. How many pros have died this game? 30? Holy crap.
Yep, and we're not even totally done yet. There is one more mine that could fight. Oh, I don't know if Gerald forgot about that one. Gerald. No! Flies the Oracle souL repositioned that with a mine to that little corner. Gerald didn't see it, and it goes from bad to worse. What are we witnessing?
I don't know. I don't. Oh.
And of course, the other probe just popped out of the assimilator, so souL doesn't get one, but 2 kills there. Yeah. Well.
I mean, these games, Kev, like this one, I really thought souL was getting carried away with the Widowmines when they got caught by the Adepts on the, like, running out of his natural and stuff, but mate, he definitely has made something out of nothing this game. Like, these Widowmine drops, they've been truly chaotic, and Gerald, this has been kind of his Achilles heel in the series so far, is how he's dealing with the Widowmine drops once they're in there.
Phoenix!
Yoink.
Oh, that's really bad, because now this medevac can just go into the main base again. Gerald, do we have any observers? We've got one.
Oh!
All right. 29 probes. Shall we leave if the next Widowmine shot goes off on a few more? Because Gerald's economy is in absolute shambles. souL is going to try to get into the main base with his low HP medevac. I feel like he's waiting for, I don't know, something. Okay, he's now that he gets stacked.
He's going in, Kev. He's going in. I mean, there is a cannon here, which definitely helps. But again, like, these probes, they're not just running away. Like, and losing a Stalker as well. They're having a marathon. In fact, they're only just now coming back from the third base. Like, this is definitely a lot of mishandling this game of these Widowmine drops.
I wouldn't have hated, like, making a few more Phoenix. After having one Oracle, and that Oracle dealt a lot of damage, I think just a few more Phoenixes to lift these mines would have been really nice. I know he was a bit low on detection, but since you know that souL is going to try to evacuate the first 3 mines that are stuck on that little plateau, because they can obviously never get through the rocks. Poor Gerald. It looked really promising for him for a split second, but then everything got blown to pieces.
souL's been playing risky, man. Like, these builds are, if you can get away with it. Oh, that nice pickup on that Marine. Definitely ballsy. I'm a bit surprised that souL didn't turn around and start shooting, actually. I felt this army could have maybe done it.
It's a couple of
stocks the same way, right?
Yeah, a couple stocks that blinked forward, and he's got stimmed bio there. Like, with half of the army and 2 medevacs, I actually think souL wins that fight convincingly. So with the entire army, I think souL could have gotten quite a few kills there, but he will give Gerald something to live for. Gerald stims and blinks into the main base. I think he's hoping that is stim, because he's like, he didn't stim before. But now souL does stim. souL has a lot of bayous on the left side. Gerald, you need to recall or you're going to lose everything, mate. Oh, he's going to lose everything.
I mean, this is brutal. In fact, well, and gets hunted down as well. Will it even survive? I doubt it.
No.
Boom.
Poor Gerald.
I like, yeah, in his webcam as well, is that last Stalker that didn't survive the recall that made him tilt his head, not the 6 or 7 getting gunned down before. It's like, oh, damn, I'd have won this one if that one single one survived.
Damn it. Tried to save it, and it just wasn't meant to be. Gerald's gonna end up losing his Oracle too in the center of the map. Does get a little revelation off. Has done a good job in rebuilding probes, but that obviously means that he's got a very, very tiny army. 1 Zealot, 1 Colossus, and 8 Stalkers. Good blink there. Actually, I picked up quite a few units. What is this drop now? Suddenly, it's a very empty drop. Really good defense by Gerald. Unfortunately, there is another bio army that is very powerful. We will get battery overcharge, but that is not going to be good enough. And I think that is going to do it. 1 Immortal against the Terran army, Ben. Who do you favor?
Oh, Kev, I definitely favor this Terran army. I mean, souL, he can just jump on this and kill it. I think he's realizing that too, and even scans just to make sure that I'm not sure what he's making sure of. Just just making sure there's no DTs accidentally killing him or something. But souL, he wins this chaotic game on Blackburn, and he even gives him a little bit of a shake of his head there. So I mean, yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about this game, Kev. It spiraled out of control so quickly, but it did feel like souL did what needed to be done. Like, I really thought he was in a tricky position, but the ability to defend with Widow Mines, deal damage with Widow Mines, like, he definitely played good crisis management.
Yep, it's actually so crazy because at one point it didn't look that good until he just decided to make that second medevac, pick up those 3 mines. And while Gerald was having a field day in his natural, souL was going to have a much bigger field day in the main base. No response at all by Gerald to the first drop, and after that it just kind of snowballed. That means that it's time for us. What are you giggling at?
So souL's asking if he can skip the cam this game because he's lagging a bit. But he's like, I'll do interview, no problem. Like, you only do interview if you win. And he's saying this in a channel with Gerald there. I'm like, wow, that's quite cocky.
All right, we'll talk more about that later. The score is 2-1 in favor of our Polish Terran. We're gonna head into a 3-minute break, and after that, we'll be back with Game 4 between souL and Gerald.
Hello. I was going to say howdy then, but I don't want Kevin laughing at me. And yet again, howdy. I'll go for it. Fourth game of the series here. souL is currently 2-1 up against Gerald in this bit of a Polish derby. I think it's safe to say that these games so far, Kev, have been a little crazy. A little crazy.
Explosive.
Damn, I wanted to come up with another word that meant explosive, but pretty much the only... Fiery? No. Baggy? No. Anyhow, the man that's coming out like the Demolition Man. In the bottom left of Oxide, it is souL.
What about Pack the Punch? I think that could
Pack
work.
the punch? Yeah, that'd have been good.
In the top right side of Oxide, we're looking at the main base of our Polish Protoss. He's made it into the playoffs 4 out of 5 seasons, but he's behind here and needs to turn it around. This is Gerald.
Gerald also started off his group stage rather rockily, right? Like, I think he was 0-3 down or something like that.
That is exactly what he was. He was 0-3, but he did go 0-3 against Clem, MaxPax, and Skillus. And it was safe to say that those were 3 of the stronger players in that group. But you are correct. He was down 0-3, and then he won the next 4 series in a row, which is very impressive.
Yeah, definitely a solid contender for, in that kind of mid-range Protoss slot in Europe. I know he's a player that a lot of people respect. I don't want to say burst onto the scene because that would imply something crazy happened. I feel that he's a name that's been around for quite some time, but he's just kind of gradually been getting better and better and more solid, which is, it's always nice to see.
Absolutely. Now, he's been around for a while, and at one point I was like, is this it, or will it get better? And then it really did get better. Once more, his results last year were very impressive in the DreamHack Masters. For a lot of these guys, they're happy that they qualified, and people are happy if they win a couple series, because Europe is a very, very competitive region. Gerald made it into the playoffs each and every single time he tried. Did not manage to do so in the first season of 2021, but he came back swinging here in this season. He's gonna need to step it up here a little bit though, Ben. I look at Gerald's TVP, or PVT rather, and to me the word that jumps to mind is complicated. I feel like he makes it very hard. There's a lot of things that Protoss can do that are very powerful and good. You think of Goblin and his love for Phoenixes and Zealots and some of the other European Protosses, or just Phoenix Colossus in general, or something cheesy, cheeky, a Dark Templar drop, Proxy Void Race. Gerald tries to win in the most honorable and hard way possible.
He's actually a hard Protoss to hate in that sense as a non-Protoss player because, yeah, that was a cute little surround there with the probes getting the damage done, but seeing the sentry first. But no, you're totally right. Like, there's a lot of cheeky Protoss builds out there where Protoss dictates the pace of the game. Gerald ain't really about that. Like, granted, he picks a different build than a lot of other Protosses, but he's almost playing the role where he's going to get punched. The question is how hard and by what? And he's kind of willing to play like that. And you are right. It definitely does complicate things because he can make it so much easier by being the one that maybe throws the first punch and just playing a game that you get to decide what it is from that point on.
Now, last game, of course, Gerald did try to be a little aggressive, but that was also kind of because he was forced, guys, because he lost the 6 to 7 probes, and he obviously cleaned up the Hellions and the Marines, and then he obviously knows there is a potential for his Adepts to deal some damage in the Oracle. But yeah, so far this game, Ben, once more, it seems like we have a relatively passive opening coming out of Gerald. He is kind of doing the same thing as on the map there where he won, 2k atmosphere, very quick robo, slightly later Stargate. So it's a mix between that Puppy Joe build where you just get all the probes and no tech other than robo units. You get somewhat quick blink. This is not the quickest blink. And I do think this game could be completely different if souL is just a little more careful with his first medevac.
Yeah, I was just about to note, though, I love that Gerald takes that pylon at the top there behind the third. A lot of Protosses neglect that, but that is so good vision-wise. Like, the pylon on the far right as well. Like, even though it's just a couple of pylons here and there, obviously, you're not mining with that probe, but the amount of vision that grants you.
Uh-oh.
He's only got one
pain.
sentry to deal with this, though.
Pure pain. Everything is out of position. Gerald's going to have to pull his probes. That is exactly what he does. Will souL do any cute burrow on burrow? Yes, he does. Also drops one in the main. It's not too bad so far for Gerald. This is kind of acceptable damage. Okay, he's still not
Lost
mining in the
mining.
natural. Yeah, and he's not gonna kill those two. What were the Stalkers doing then? What?
I think this is where the pace of the game might be getting the better of Gerald a little bit. Like, even though only 3 probes died, only 1 Widow mine got shot down. And the amount of lost mining there was huge. Absolutely a win for souL at this point in time.
Yep, and this time obviously souL is gonna have a more feisty follow-up. Steam is already halfway done. It is really important for Gerald that he gets quick access to a Colossus. But Oxide is a tricky map, I think, to defend all 3 bases if your army isn't that big, because that main base is so droppable. Gerald does have an observer on top of this medevac. I mean, I just hope for the sake of the series, and I hope for Gerald, who has done such a good job in surviving in the group stage, he can really turn this into something. It is not looking too bad, but this is one of these games where if Gerald is out of position ever so slightly, as we have another mine drop. Oh, kills the Stalker. Doesn't kill the Widow mine at least, but kills a probe there as well. If Gerald is out of position against the first move out of souL, it could end. But then again, Ben, he's got 3 observers, so he shouldn't be out of position.
He definitely shouldn't be. He's been probing up good as well. Even though he's lost a few probes, he's still at a decent count here. And he does see this move out from souL when it's happening. It's taking a bit of an unorthodox approach across the map here, but will Gerald be able to hold? Because right now, the amount of battle units he actually has out on the field is pretty low.
Yeah, I'm especially worried about medevac number 3 and 4. I think he will be able to deal with that first army because he has a battery. Well, we need that Colossus, and we might need a good Guardian Shield. But I'm very worried about medevac 3 and 4. It's going to take a little while before they show up. Gerald looks at his army and he says, I can fight this outside of my battery. I don't know if I agree with that. souL definitely doesn't agree with it. He's going to get a couple of units immediately. Gerald does clean up the mines, but the third is wide open, cancels the warp in as well. Oh my goodness, that Colossus is in danger. Battery overcharge saves the day for now, but it's already a sweet trade for souL, isn't it, man?
You know what? I think so, but Gerald just wanted to survive against that. I'm looking at his money right now. He's got a lot of it. Obviously, he can produce a lot. How many gateways does he have? Just 4 gateways. But you were right, Kevin. Now things are going to get problematic because now souL can start multitasking across the map here, there, and everywhere. Gerald is somewhat ready, but souL isn't super all in with this. His third is just about done, actually, on location.
I mean,
That Raven.
that other turret is not going to do a whole lot. I'm actually really surprised that souL thinks that's a good way to spend that energy. Because imagine if you drop an interference matrix on that Colossus. What is the rest of that army, man? The rest of the army is absolutely nothing. souL does get his double drop. Oh no, Gerald. He's move commanding his Stalkers a bit out of position. There are Widow mines here too. 16 probes go down. Ay, ay, ay.
I think souL with this single drop right here just won the game, Kev. I mean, there's more Stalkers, but they're going in single file here against this, and defending there in the main just isn't happening. This single Colossus with barely any health. It might die, it might not. It will die. The shield battery overcharge, it's good, but not that good. And I think that's the end for Gerald, honestly.
Yep, just had a little bit too much money in the bank, and this is one of the downsides of the build that he went for. I think I would like this build maybe a bit more on the Romantic side or 2K, but it doesn't matter. souL will be